I'd like to call the meeting to order. And before we start, I'd like to thank everyone for their patience for delaying getting started for the Planning Advisory Committee meeting for Monday, February 27th. I would like to acknowledge before we start that we are on Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. For the benefit of those that may be watching from home or listening, Councillor Halverson is joining via Teams. I want to say Teams, it's Zoom, I think. No, yeah, Zoom. And Peter Goforth, our community representative, is also in with Zoom and at the moment doesn't have his camera on. So perhaps, Peter, you can turn your camera on for the benefit of those that are in the gallery.
I do not have an operating camera.
I can hear him.
I do not have a camera.
Okay, thank you, Peter. And okay, maybe if you could you turn your sound up just a wee bit, please? For the benefit of those that are in the space. Would somebody like to move the approval of the agenda, please? Moved by Councillor Ernst, seconded by Councillor Halverson. Any errors or omissions? Councillor Halverson.
I just wanted to double check something before we get too far into this. I can't remember what the dictate was from the province regarding meetings, public meetings, if we don't have all of our I thought we were supposed to have cameras on. And I'd hate to go through this and then have someone come back and say, you actually didn't do that right. Do we know, does anyone know what the regulation is around this?
I'm not aware of what the regulations are. I'll defer maybe to our CAO, Jamie Doyle's joined us. Jamie, are you aware? Jamie, can you hear me? You're on mute.
Yes, I can.
Thank you. Jamie, did you hear Councillor Halverson's question with regards to cameras?
No, I didn't. Sorry.
Okay. Councillor Halverson, would you like to repeat your question, please?
Sure. I just know during COVID, the consideration was given to holding meetings virtually, provided we apparently all the cameras had to be on for all participants. I just don't know, has that changed, or is anyone familiar with the rules are at this point? Again, as I said, I'd hate to go through this and then have us be in violation of something.
As far as I know, nothing's changed. Councillor Halverson still remains the same.
Okay, and again, I don't know the specific rules, but I was hoping that somebody might. So,
is Kayla present in the room?
Yeah,
Kayla, do you know if anything's changed?
Kayla is here.
No, so according to the MGA, to be present at an electronic meeting, you must be able to be seen and heard. So video would need to be on for everyone.
okay, so with that in mind, and I apologize, Peter, that you may not have been aware of this. Do we still have quorum if Peter's video cannot be seen?
No, we do not have quorum without Peter having video.
I'm sorry, but I don't have video.
No, that's not your fault. Yeah.
It's okay, Peter. You can only work with the technology that you have. So do I understand then, and I'm looking at CAO Doyle, do we then have to reschedule the meeting?
Unless there's anybody else we could call upon to attend. I know the mayor is ill. I could text him to see if he's available to participate. Otherwise, we wouldn't have quorum and we wouldn't be able to make any decisions within this meeting.
Can you message him?
Of course.
Thank you.
Through the chair, I have sent him a note, and I guess we'll give him a few moments to see if he can attend or not.
Thank you.
If I could speak through the chair, in light of this, if we're unable to go ahead with holding the meeting due to lack of quorum, and I may speak again through the chair to the CAO for clarification, for the benefit of those in the gallery who may have points to be brought up, can we at least listen to those points without voting, just so it's not a complete waste of an evening?
Through the chair to Councillor Ernst, I believe we could. We just couldn't make any decisions. And Mayor Risser has just messaged me back to say that he wouldn't be able to turn his on either. So it looks like we will not have quorum. But as you suggested, Councillor, I guess we could hear some conversation and dialogue rather, so it's not a complete waste.
So,
Madam
Arthur?
Chair, I'm just wondering if Peter would feel comfortable enough if he came to town hall, if we all wear our masks. I don't believe he has COVID, but maybe he does, but I'll just put that out there as a possibility.
Thank you, Arthur. So, Peter, so before I ask Peter, is it possible for us to all have masks? Like, do we have access to masks that? Okay. Peter, if everybody in council chambers were to mask, would you be able to come to council chambers?
Yes, I would.
Okay. How quickly can you be here?
Probably 10 to 15 minutes.
Excellent. Okay, we'll wait for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I will ensure that masks are distributed to everyone present in council chambers so that we will be masked when you arrive. Thank you. Thank you.
Madam Chair, perhaps we could take a 10-minute recess until Peter can join us.
Sure, that sounds like a good idea. So we're at 6:19. We'll reconvene at 6:29. So I'm going to call the meeting back to order, and just for everyone's benefit, our community representative, Peter Goforth, has now joined us in person. Thank you, Peter, very much. We really appreciate it. And we have. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yeah. And we did approve the agenda, did we not? Where were we? Yep. Not the minutes. Okay. Counselor Halverson, where are you? So Counselor Halverson has rejoined us, and our meeting will start again at 6:31. And because we now have quorum, I'm going to ask once more for the approval of the agenda, please. Would somebody like to move the approval of the agenda? Moved by Counselor Ernst, seconded by Counselor Halverson. Are there any additions? Nothing to add. All in favor? Contrary minded? Agenda is approved. Would somebody like to move the approval of the minutes from our previous meeting, please? Moved by Peter, seconded by Stephen. Any errors or omissions? Not seeing any. All in favor? Contrary minded? Minutes approved. So we now move on to the public participation meetings, and on your agenda 5.1, the amendment to the land use bylaw by deleting Schedule G of vending. So I'd like to turn this over to staff at this point. Arthur?
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. For the public record, my name is Arthur McDonald. I'm the Director of Community Development. And I'd like to point out that I'm here with two team members. Hillary Grant is here tonight, and she's our Senior Planner, Heritage Officer. So I believe this is her first PAC meeting. So I wanted to introduce her to the committee. And Trevor Young, our Development Officer, Planning Tech, is also here this evening. And not sure if it's his first PAC meeting, but just want to introduce him to the committee. This evening, we have a public participation meeting, and I first like to go through the meeting overview. And so I'd like to begin that the public participation meeting provides members of the public with an opportunity to learn about a proposed amendment. In this case, it's an amendment to the land use bylaw to delete Schedule G vending from the land use bylaw. And we're here to receive public input so that their views may be known to the committee prior to the committee making a recommendation to council. To initiate an amendment to the land use bylaw, a public participation meeting is required under the planning public participation program. Following the public participation program, council will also provide further public input at a public hearing stage with council. Council will also hold first reading and second reading for the adoption of a proposed vending bylaw under a separate report. The meeting process will include a presentation will be made by staff. The Planning Advisory Committee members may ask questions of staff. If received, advanced submissions from the public will be noted. And I note for this public participation meeting that we did not receive any public submissions. The chair of the PAC will open the floor for public submissions in person and online. The PAC will officially close the public participation meeting, and the PAC may then proceed with a recommendation to council or defer their decision to a future meeting of the PAC. There are some rules of conduct for undertaking a public participation meeting. We ask that those wishing to make a presentation to state their name and civic address for the minutes. Speakers are limited to one presentation, 10 minutes long. We ask everyone to be respected and respectful of other people's opinions. PAC members may question each speaker. Comments and questions from the public are to be directed to the chair. And once the public participation meeting is closed, no further questions or comments on the matter will be received. For our Zoom attendees, to comment by audio, click on the raised hand icon and you will be entered into a queue. The ability to be heard will be activated as directed by the chair. To comment by text, type into the chat function and staff will relay to the chair. The raise hand and chat functions will only be enabled during the public participation meeting. Now, I'd like to proceed with a brief outline of the proposed report as submitted to the committee with regards to the application at hand. At Council's May 10th, 2022 Council meeting, Council passed the following motion. It was moved and seconded to undertake a planning report and draft a vending bylaw, which would include a map showing permitted areas for vending and amend the land use bylaw to delete Schedule G vending. And that motion was carried. The development of a new vending bylaw has been addressed in a separate report. This report focuses on the amendments to the land use bylaw to delete Schedule G vending. And I like to point out is once we go through the public participation meeting program and we have a recommendation that goes to council, council will then approve first reading, then advertise for a public hearing. And then we hope to hold both the public hearing with regards to the amendments to the land use bylaw, as well as second reading of the vending bylaw the same evening of council. So this proposal involves the creation of a new vending bylaw that will accommodate all aspects related to vending within the town without the need of cross-referencing the town's land use bylaw. Upon completion and adoption, the vending will be solely regulated through the new vending bylaw, and the LUB will be silent in this regard. The MPS, the Municipal Planning Strategy, is silent with regards to vending, and as such, the amendments to the land use bylaw with regards to deleting Schedule G vending would not be considered to be inconsistent with the intent of the Municipal Planning Strategy. The proposed amendments are considered not to be contrary to any provincial interest statements as shown in the table outlined in the report. As yard sales will not be covered under the vending bylaw, it is best to maintain these provisions within the land use bylaw, and they have been substituted therefore under part 6.12 of the land use bylaw. This public participation meeting was advertised in the local paper and on the town's website and social media. And we're here now to receive any public input into that matter. So I pass it back on to the chair to open up the floor to any citizens or anyone wishing to make a presentation with regards to this proposed amendment. Thank you.
Thank you, Arthur. So at this time, is there anybody in the gallery that would like to speak? No? So can I ask that you come down, and there's a microphone here at this podium. Heather, if you could turn it on. So if you could state your name and your civic address.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Powers, 63 First Peninsula Road. And I have a business in town, Lunenburg Walking Tours. And I just have a very quick question, because I'm not familiar with the process. When the new vending bylaw is created, is that going to be something that we'll have a copy of ahead of time to take a look at? Is it something that is being created ahead of time? I guess that's my question.
Mr. McDonald.
Through the chair, yes, the new vending bylaw has been drafted and it's on the agenda for council's consideration for first reading tomorrow night.
Oh, tomorrow night. Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments from the gallery?
Yeah.
A little confused coming in. I think we're okay. Thank you, Dan.
All right, thank you so much.
Yeah, we have no
Is there
one
anyone-
online.
No one is online.
Thank you.
So hearing and no further input, we'll now move on and close the amendment to the land use bylaw. And we will go to 5.2 on our agenda, an amendment to the municipal planning strategy and land use bylaw to delete the architectural control areas. And I'll turn this back to Mr. McDonald.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. The second public participation meeting that we have this evening is an amendment to the municipal planning strategy and land use bylaw to delete the architectural control areas from the municipal planning strategy and land use bylaw. And we would actually delete Schedule F, which is the architectural control area map and the Heritage Conservation District map from the land use bylaw as well. Just to go over the outline for the public participation meeting, pretty much the same thing applies to this public participation meeting as the first. So rather than going through that again, I'd just like Heather to go to the second last slide of this particular deck. And the whole intent of this amendment is kind of summarized up in one sentence. The amendments to the municipal planning strategy and land use bylaw will remove the regulations of the architectural control areas so that the Heritage Conservation District plan and bylaw can be the sole document administering the architectural control provisions. Schedule F, the Heritage Conservation District and architectural control area map, will be deleted from the town's land use bylaw. And just for those at home, I have included Schedule F, the map here for your review. So that will be the actual schedule that will be deleted from the land use bylaw. And a new heritage conservation district will be developed that will regulate architectural control provisions for the town. And it'll be all regulated under one plan and bylaw rather than have to go back and forth between the Heritage Conservation District plan and bylaw and the municipal planning strategy and land use bylaw. So it'd be much easier to administer. I think it'd be a lot easier for the public to understand in the long run. But this evening, we're here just to have some public input into that matter so that the Planning Advisory Committee can make a decision and recommendation to council. In my report, I have outlined that the MPS amendments, municipal planning strategy amendments, are outlined in attachment C, and the land use bylaw amendments are outlined in attachment D. The proposed amendments is considered not to be contrary to any provincial interest statements. I provided a table in the report outlining that for council as well as for the committee. And I just want to note as well that this public participation meeting was advertised in the local paper and on the town's website and social media. And we're here now to receive public input. So I'd like to turn it back over to the chair to open it up to the floor for comments. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. McDonald. Is there anyone from the gallery that would like to speak to this? Okay, thank you. So no one here. Is there anyone on Zoom who would like to speak to this? Heather? Okay, not seeing any hands up. I'd like to close this part of the meeting and move on to 6, business arising from the public participation meetings. And 6.1, the amendment to the land use bylaw by deleting Schedule G vending. So there's a draft motion. Would somebody like to move the motion as it's written? So the motion says the PAC recommends that council proceeds with first reading of the proposed amendments to the land use bylaw by deleting Schedule G vending as outlined in the planner's report. Okay, moved by Peter Goforth and seconded by Councillor Ernst. Any further discussion? Not seeing any hands. All in favor? Contrary minded? Motion carried. 6.2, an amendment to the municipal planning strategy and land use bylaw to delete the architectural control areas. There's a draft motion there that the PAC recommends that council proceeds with the first reading of the proposed amendments to the municipal planning strategy and land use bylaw to delete the architectural control areas and Schedule F, Heritage Conservation District, and architectural control area map as outlined in the planner's report. Would someone like to move that motion be approved? Moved by Councillor Halverson, seconded by Councillor Ernst. Any further discussion or comment? Not seeing any. All in favor? Contrary minded? Motion carried. There's no new business. Our next meeting is to be determined. So at this point, I would like to move our meeting be adjourned. Thank you. And thank you.